Hello, viewers. I'm Safi, and this is The Electronics. In this episode of the interview, we are in conversation with Dr. Satya Gupta. Dr. Satya Gupta is a techno visionary with a wealth of experience and expertise in the global electronics and semiconductor industry. Dr. Gupta has over 3 decades of experience both in the USA and in India in the areas of semiconductor design. He has also been deeply associated with academic and government ecosystem to further growth of the industry and academic research. After his long stint at Intel, he co-founded five successful startups: Intel Microelectronics, Open Silicon, Concept, True Silicon, Sensopt, and CDR's innovations. He has also mentored and helped incubate multiple other technical startups. Dr. Gupta is one of the key founding members of India's Semiconductor Association IESA and is closely involved with the association since its inception and is the chairman of the association. So it's a privilege to have you on the electronics interview.
Thank you, Safi. Glad to be here, and all the best wishes to you and the people at Electronics, the viewers, and the participants. Thank you so much.
My first question to you, sir, is tell us about your organization. How is the India Electronics and Semiconductor Association helping the consumer electronics ecosystem in the country?
So, just to give a little bit background, in 2005, uh, about five of us were together, and basically we mooted the idea of creating a platform for uh, semiconductor and startup industry because there was none existing at that time. Although we had organized NASCOM for the software, there was none basically which was very prominent. I will not say not existing. So with that idea, we started the India Semiconductor Association. Over the time, it from ISA it became IESA because electronics is an integral part of what we do, even if its semiconductor was initial focus. So currently, in terms of the focus for ISA, there are basically, I'll say, three primary focus. Uh, One is basically electronics and semiconductor product development. When I say semiconductor product development, it is also referred as a fabless product companies, right? Companies which design the chip, manufacture it somewhere else, and then basically sell it in the market, likes of Qualcomms and Broadcoms and so on and so forth. Right? So that's the one vertical where we are focusing primarily on the products, both the electronics, like this mobile may be cliche example, but there's so many other products like Wi-Fi access point. Prime Minister has this program Wani where he wants to basically millions of access points, free Wi-Fi we want to put across the country. So those kind of the products comes under the electronics category, and then fabulous product. There is a Wi-Fi chip, there is a camera chip, there is basically a smart metering chip, a tablet chip. All of that will come under the fabulous product. So that's one vertical. Second is the manufacturing aspect of it. Again, both electronics and semiconductors. When we talk about electronics manufacturing, making a complete system all the way from basically a simple Wi-Fi dongle to the complex base station product, right? That's the electronic side of it. Semiconductor manufacturing is basically two part of it. One is wafer fabrication and one is what is called assembly and packaging and test, right? So we have very little of that in the country today, but IS's focus is to build basically the ecosystem and capabilities in that. The third is capacity and capability building, where we basically work with academia and basically design companies to grow the talent because even though the focus is on the product, but we cannot ignore the design part of it, right? Which is a very large part of the India ecosystem with basically multinational design centers like Intels and Qualcomms. They have all the design centers and domestic players like Wipro, HCL. So together all we have to basically grow the availability of the talent and quality of the talent to both focus on the R&D and the development. So these are the three focus areas for the association.
All right. Another point which I want to bring in is there are different areas of focus as you are also highlighting. But in terms of these segments, as I state, in terms of electronics product, component, design, systems, manufacturing services, if we just can have a brief understanding of what's happening in these categorized what do you call segments, if we say,
Yeah.
in
So
terms of product. Yeah.
if you look at basically what we call it basically sand to product, right? So lot of electronics basically starts with semiconductor wafers, right? Which is ultimately silica or sand, right? So you start, that's the heart of this thing. From there you basically go to the chips to system to solutions to market, right? So if we look at basically the overall ecosystem, as you said, right? I think there are certain areas where India is strong. There's certain areas where India is not very strong. So I'll just go over two or three of them. For example, semiconductor manufacturing, which is wafer fabrication and packaging and so on and so forth. We are basically way behind, right? I think we should not shy in saying it that basically we don't have much to basically boast about in that area, right? But chip design talent, we are doing very good, right? Embedded software, which is part of electronic system, we are doing very good, right? In the last 7 years, electronics manufacturing, where we make the system, we take the chips and make a system out of it. India has done very well, basically in terms of the mobile and other areas. The electronics manufacturing pie has gone significantly, almost like tripled it has tripled in last 7 years, right? Semiconductor manufacturing, we are weak, right? Overall electronics product ownership, right? Manufacturing we are doing, electronics product ownership, I'll say we are still behind, but not as behind as basically semiconductor manufacturing, right? So we are manufacturing the products for others, but we don't have basically too many of our own products. So that's how I paint the whole basically ecosystem, where our strength and weaknesses and things like that. But saying that, we'll come about it later. But last 3 to 4 years, the government policies have understood these basically weak points, and we are working with the government to basically come up with the right kind of basically environment to address this basically disabilities.
Yes, we'll come back to the policy part once more
Yeah.
in the latter part of the interview. Right now, what the query which I have in my mind is, as an expert, can you comment on the buying behavior and consumer trends you have witnessed across categories? Categories in the sense like electronics, different categories. Which consumer electronics categories do you think will get a significant push in the coming time based on the current scenario of make in India or making in India?
Sure. So, I think basically electronics products are becoming both at individual level and a business level a kind of a meta resource which is kind of essential. It's not a nice to have things anymore, right? So, in personal domain of consumer electronics or electronics, I'll say basically things obviously personal devices like mobile, tablets, laptops certainly is one of the leading market. But saying that at the same time, we see a significant growth in the home devices also. Like if you see, almost every home in bigger city now have a basically fiber connection, right? So FTTS, what we call it. So you need a router for that, right? Every home basically have a washing machine, microwave, refrigerator, and basically dishwasher, right? All of them are becoming more and more electronics, right? Looking at the other aspect of it, automobiles are becoming very significantly electronics driven. More and more, even in gasoline driven cars, the amount of the electronics is growing significantly, right? So a car may have basically almost 30, 40 microprocessors which run the different function of the car, even in the traditional car. And when we go to electrical vehicle, then it's all electronics, right? From the charging to drivetrain to basically
Mhm.
sensors, lidars, everything, right? So the automobile is another big trend which is basically driven by both uh, technology as well as the need of the consumers, right? Third will be
Right.
industry. There is a strong penetration in the industry of the electronics and the solutions based on the electronics. Uh, Things like basically industrial IoT, right? Means no industry can be without industrial IoT today, right? Manufacturing unit, there is so much automation in terms of the robotics and so on and so forth, right? So both from a personal devices to home devices to industry, I think the need and demand for electronics is basically just skyrocketing, and it's basically becoming as essential as basically roti kapda or makan in some sense.
Okay. A report prepared by the association, your association last year, highlighted that electronics production has the potential to reach up to $260 billion and can generate 1 crore jobs, providing an alternate source of employment to IT sector. How soon is that likely to happen? If you may please share your views on this, and how much is the sector accounting to currently?
So I think basically we just did this report just before the pandemic broke out. Okay, we released these reports in March. That means the data was collected couple of months before that, right? So certainly things probably got pushed out about a year because of pandemic, but based on all the indicators we are getting in India and worldwide, right? The demand has picked up very strongly. Basically, semiconductor demand is all-time high. We are not able to produce as many chips as required globally today. Um there is significant investment basically looking at this demand worldwide is happening basically like USA has announced basically $20 billion. Taiwan has announced to $20 billion package for these industries. European Union has announced the similar kind of very large investment because the demand is very strong and everybody is realizing this is a basically strategic uh, need, right? Because in the future, this will determine the strategic relationships between the country, right? Just like the defense or basically defense electronics and other things define the relationship between the other countries, right? Uh, so going back to your question, maybe basically the demand or the projections will get pushed out by a year, but I think it still remains very strong traction, 20 plus percent of the growth in this sector. So probably by I'll say 2025, we should be able to hit somewhere around 350 to 400 billion dollars of consumption. But I think more important is that how much we hit as a production.
Right. There's one
And
very important, aspect of this entire business. That is our dependency on imports for most electronic goods, and this is perhaps is also on the rise because the demand is on the rise. So we need more of inputs which we need to import, and this is perhaps exponential. Can this turn into a bottleneck? Do you see a mismatch between our rising demands and imports for our industry in the long run? What's the way out if this is sort of,
let me first give you some data about where do we stand on that, right? Okay. So I think in if I go 5 years back, probably basically we were at 80-20 type of situation. And when I say import, it's the import of the fully developed product, right? Not components and things like that. So, but in 2018-19, we caught up a lot and it went to basically almost 50% import and 50% basically domestic manufacturing, right? And if we look at basically 2-3 years ahead, I think we will reach to somewhere around basically 70% domestic manufacturing and 30%. So I think when we were looking at these numbers probably 10 years back, I think your observation is right. The gap was widening, right? Basically, more consumption, more import, right? But percentage-wise, because of whatever has happened in last 5 to 7 years, right? I think that percentage-wise gap is narrowing in terms of the uh, import in form of the complete products, right? For example, if I import a Oppo or Vivo phone directly as an assembled unit from China or wherever it is being manufactured, that is considered as a full product import, right? But if I take the components and manufacture in Noida, then basically that will be domestic production, right? So that part of the domestic industry has grown significantly in last 7 years. So complete product import dependency is narrowing, but saying that, basically, what goes inside those products, we still have a large dependency on the import because we don't have a semiconductor manufacturing or fabulous product companies as much as we would like to have in India, which form the most of the import within those products, right? So product manufacturing is happening in India, but what goes a ingredient into those products, that's where basically the main problem lies. And I think we need, as a country, we need to address it, and we can talk later about what are we doing to address that part of it as a
Right.
component
Yes,
import.
I'm just taking a cue from what you are saying. I'm coming to the policy initiatives that we were talking about in the beginning of this interview. There are several government initiatives to promote the electronic sector and to encourage the growth. How are policies helping the sector? Is there anything which is on the wish list of the industry still after these policies
Yeah.
being in place now?
Let me first take what has happened in last couple of years, and then basically what is the way forward in terms of the policies, right? So I think realizing that manufacturing of electronics products is very critical for the country, both from economic point of view, uh, dependence point of view, and job creation point of view, right? So I think several steps were taken in this thing. The latest in the series of those steps was basically a trio of policies, which we call PLI, SPACs, and EMC. So PLI stands for, basically it's more for electronics manufacturing, production linked incentives. Okay, SPACs is basically a promotion scheme for the component manufacturing, and EMC is for developing the clusters where these manufacturing entities can thrive as a community, right? You need to have a lot of ecosystem around things to develop, right? In my personal, basically, opinion, PLI is one of the most brilliant scheme which basically government or anywhere in the world the government has done, right? But just for the viewers, just to explain it how it works, right? For any industry, or initially it was done for smartphone, and later on it was extended to 11 other sectors, right? The same PLI scheme. So if you look at the incentives around the world, right, most of it will come in terms of the tax rebates and things like that. That okay, you get 10-year tax holiday and so on and so forth, right? But what happens in electronics manufacturing industry, your margins are very low. Right? So that means your taxable percentage or EBITDA is basically in single digit, right? Now, if I give a basically 100% basically rebate on that also, I might get a 5 to 7% basically advantage on income. Okay. What PLI turned it around, and that's it. We will give incentive on the revenues, not on the income. Okay. So getting a 5% PLI on revenue, okay, is as much as basically 200% rebate on the income tax, right? So I think that was a complete game changer, and I think we are seeing already the effect of basically that policy. Uh, Wistron, Pegatron, and so many basically Foxconn have put the investment in the country to basically align with the PLI scheme. So not just government is saying it, basically as an industry or a personal point of view also, PLI was most brilliantly crafted scheme by the government, and I think in next 5 years it's just going to produce very outstanding results. Right now, what the second part of the question you asked, what more we can do? So first of all, when PLI came, it started with smartphone. Then we worked with the government, and then basically it was extended to 11 other sectors. 4 5 of them are directly electronics. Some of them are more enabling industries like batteries and so on and so forth. Right. But fantastic job done there by multiple ministries coming together and so on and so forth. Now,
Yes.
what is
Anything else on your wish list? I mean, do you
yeah,
still need some kind?
that's what I'm coming to. Right now, we have now all of this is basically very targeted towards the manufacturing. Okay, and in India ecosystem, when we do manufacturing, it's not very high domestic value addition manufacturing. Manufacturing, there is a 5 to 7% with manufacturing adds, then some components add, and so on and so forth. So total value addition which we do in the country is somewhere around basically 15 to 17%. So what we need to do is basically we need to raise this domestic value addition to somewhere around 40%. To basically really be leveraging this industry for self-reliance, job creation, and everything, right? So for that, we have to go into more product ownership domain, right? We have done basically, we are manufacturing for Apple, we are manufacturing for Oppo, Vivo. Now is the time to basically move towards our own products, right? And that's basically the focus. So we are working with basically government to, first thing is that how to create more fabulous chip companies in country. So large scheme is being conceived there. So that is basically already means we understood the need. We are doing it. Same thing basically for the semiconductor manufacturing, where you manufacture the chip like Taiwan and other countries do. Right. There is basically the work has started. Maybe basically it will take another 6 months to put together, invite the global players to begin with, and then develop the domestic players. Or if a large business house in the country, because semiconductor manufacturing is heavy investment, right? You need basically 500 million onwards type of the investment, right? So if any large business, big business house like Reliance, Ambani, Tata, one of them step up. But I think that work is in progress, and we expect to have some results on that about in 6 months. I think we need to create the same thing for electronics product also. Means where I say not just manufacturing, but basically creating the product, right? So I think that is something which we have to work on still. It needs basically both seed funding and growth funding, as well as basically working capital, because if you get an order of 10 crore, right, you don't have money to fulfill that order, right? So working capital. So I think there are multiple aspects of electronics product development companies which we have to still work on. We expect basically if we can create a about 10,000 crore rupees scheme for electronics product, that will go long.
Right. As a nation, sir, we have had some great moments, policy decisions which we have celebrated over the years. Just going a little bit of what we are talking, say, for example, Green Revolution. It was a policy decision which brought in so much for us. We opened up to the world in 90s. Now we are talking of Atmanirbharta, right? How much time you assume can it actually take for us to be really free from substantial dependence on imports when it comes to assembling, or when it comes to the sector here, and India wants to be one of the eminent players in electronics?
I believe it's a 5 to 7 year horizon. Okay. Because when we talk about electronics, we have to talk about semiconductor also, because which are the heart of most of the electronics devices, right? So maybe, and that takes little longer. So maybe 5 years. In 5 years, we should see a substantial movement. I'll not say that we will be like self-reliant on every aspect of it, but we should move the needle. The way we basically kind of would like to capture is what is the domestic value addition from the country, right? So we are at 17 to 20%. I think in 5 years we can reach somewhere between 30 to 40%, right? And that will basically show how basically self-reliant it is, because most of the products which are being consumed or manufactured have significant domestic value addition. Second is basically, I think there is a lot of potential in the export. I think if we can basically, whatever the projections are there in electronics, we want to be basically 100 billion export, right, in next 5 to 7 years. If we can hit that, I think that will basically be big success story.
Consumer electronics business is a very capital intensive business. Given the economy is at a point of recovery, what is your observation around new entrants getting into the sector? Over the course of last year, if you can comment how electronics businesses were impacted by the pandemic.
I think pandemic impact on basically electronics and semiconductor business was very transitory, right? I think basically when we talk to our member companies and the companies in this space, right, we see very little impact, right? Because most of the work was manufacturing is driven by mostly automation, automated machines, very means compared to other industries, much less people are involved. The design is all virtual, so basically people were able to contribute. So overall, and demand that we are seeing of semiconductors, it's all time high. So impact from the COVID, maybe things got delayed by 1 or 2 quarters, but I think there's no serious mm, uh, negative sentiment or negative results which we see for electronics and semiconductor as part of the impact from pandemic.
Okay. Dr. Satyagupta, thank you so much for talking to the electronics.
Sure. You're always welcome.